car to turn back now. Says my there it goes. There it goes. Still waiting for some people to come jump on here, but we'll try to get this out there and then, you know, keep freezing my video. All right. No. But let's go what I think about what I think about doing something like this. I would have told you no, but it was just a inspiration with Scott and doing his little thing there that kind of pushed me a little bit more into this. To just when I was a kid, I was always taught, to be peaceful, not that. But so if you think about stuff like that, if the fight comes to you, that's when you need to stand up and fight. And we're close to that point right now. In this point in time, is so God is not instilled in us courageous and back and set back and just let things continue to go on. This stand up and take action. But I think it's to the point now that the sleeping giant has awoken. I mean, it's more or less. I think it was said in World War II by one of the Japan that there's been this movement has started, and I'm glad. Was I alive back in? No, I wasn't alive back in, but a lot of things in history tells me what went on back then. But it was pretty much that they was tired of a tyrannical government. So they left England for a better life. And when they came over here and now, and I say a lot of times, I think these laws, if we get down to it, when everything plays out, a laws is going to be null and void for the simple fact that they're not right. Um, it's pretty much boils down. I mean, it's not saying, well, who's to say, well, that's not anybody with reasonable sense is not just going to say that I love to go out here and kill. That's not how things work. But what it boils down to is when that fight comes to us, when they try to push things that they're pushing now, just like you seeing out there in Boulder. And I'm going to say that, if you watch that video about the over there in Colorado, you can tell that it's fake. Common sense can see that. Then there's a few other things that point out where they had that sheriff on there and he didn't have but one star on his collar there. That just don't make a lot of ones I seen. They've had more than one collar. I mean that just goes to show you that it's accurate. Some people that pulled off the street and it's not very good actors at that. I think I could do more acting than what they was doing. I mean, there wasn't anybody running around in a panic or anything like that. It was really actually live fire, and you're not going to be standing like that in front of the door, especially if they're in there shooting. Then you get to the point where he goes on into the store, and you can tell that's not live fire. I know that from experience to see that. I mean, but the point about it is they're exposing things that should have been exposed a long, long time ago, in my opinion. I think we've been lied to just about all our life about certain things. When Trump first came in office, I got to thinking about that. When he started calling them out, fake news. Because that's what it is. It's fake news. It's all solved. I mean, do they leak a little bit of the truth? Yes. Until everything, so the stuff that has been declassified about stuff, and here we go. We're gonna get a little crazy, but like I said about the declassification there, I don't know your whole opinion about how you feel about UFOs, aliens, and stuff like that. I might lose some of you on this one. When they had Area 51 over there, which Area 51 is a real place. It's a military base. And what you don't see on the surface is up underground. And here we go. We're going to dig a little bit deeper with that up underground. Underground military bases. I mean, they're all around. And that's what Scott was talking about earlier. We're still fighting that battle. Well, that battle comes out about trying to get violent. I mean, don't get me wrong when I say that. It's not the point of being violent with anybody. Already putting out that he urges the Supreme Court to go after the gun owners. I'm gonna tell you something. If you come to my house, be expecting for something because something's gonna happen. I ain't gonna say on here, but you can bet on your life. We have First Amendment rights. We have Second Amendment rights, and that Second Amendment is what gets them because they know that there's more people out here with guns than they have been. Pushing all this propaganda bullshit, about all this certain things. The people are too stupid to make their own decision. I don't need nobody to make my decision. That's what I said. That's what I said. We live in a state of free will. We live in a country with God given rights, and nobody can take that. Give up our guns and stuff like that. I don't see it that way. It's a proven fact when you dial 911, depending on how close that cop is or whatever, if a fire truck's leaving the station, it's going to take them at least it longer to arrive. Oh, there, don't get me wrong. They're showing something a little bit more than what I can do. It's around against their constitutional rights because that's what's happening in a lot of places. That they're trying to take our. Well, you have to go to jail. Well, but the simple fact is they can't hold you on that. And that's what people don't understand. They rule of law, and they like with all this mass bullshit. Oh, it's for the greater good. It's for the greater good. I'm so sick of that shit. You know, if we live in America, they're not gonna do it. But like I said, I fear for what it's gonna take to wake you up. That's the reason why they're trying to push this propaganda right now with the gun issue, take the guns. They're afraid of us standing together and fighting. I mean, that's another point that Scott talked about earlier was standing up together. I mean, we don't realize what kind of power that we do have. Get involved like that. I mean, you call out no counties or anything like that, but they pretty much move the meetings around, so it's hard for people. They're trying to do something out of the public eye. They want stuff that they don't want you to know about. That's the reason why they're doing things like that. But the people are sick of this. I mean, yeah, I live here in Georgia. I'll be the first to tell you, I live here in Georgia, but I ain't going no further than that. I mean, if you want my information, it ain't that hard to find. Everybody's information is out there. I'm not afraid. I will stand my ground if it comes to that. It's just that we got to tap into it a little bit. Um, I mean, it's that fight or flight instinct, and we all have that instinct. Like I said, there's a time to fight, and there's a time not to fight. But fight is upon us. What are we going to do? Somebody and taking this and doing that like I said, it's for the greater good with these masks and stuff. No, greater good. Whose greater good is it? It's not. It's not for us. Put more money in for vaccines. Yeah, go get your shot. Go and get it. Like I said before, go on and be that lab rat if you want to. I'm not going to do it. There's too much information out there, and saying the vaccines is not good. You know, they've been trying to warn us for a long time about them vaccines, and nobody's took heed to that. I mean, like I was told by my grandparents, you know, it because all these chemicals they use in these foods to preserve it. I mean, back in the day, a lot better for you, but they've been putting them in it more and more nowadays than what has ever had before. And you know, we're eating that. What is steroids? I mean, that makes sense in your body when you consume stuff like that. But there's some things coming more and more. It's starting to become like a flood. Like I said earlier, they started has been before. And I'm gonna tell you how to cure a lot of this stuff, like with this virus and stuff like this, and this stuff that they're putting out on the media. Turn your TV off. Get out. Live your life. Fox, you know, Fox. You can't trust them anymore about what information they put out. But the thing about it is, getting back to that point where I was talking about earlier about the media and the propaganda of the media. The media has been infiltrated, and it's been like that for years. Who infiltrated the media? The CIA. Why did the CIA infiltrate the media? So they could push certain narratives when they got ready to do certain things. And that's the way it's been. Down there in Florida with that David Hogg down there, you know, do a little bit of research on him and find out what you know about him and his parents, more especially. His parents worked for the CIA. That information's out there. It's not that hard to find. But the CIA's been run off in the media for probably as long as I've been alive. And that, you know, that ain't been very long. But the point about it is that we have been bombings, George Floyd's death. Oh, that's a hot one. It ain't nothing but I think they was paid off by Soros. Evidently, Soros ain't got too good of connections in Hollywood, and it's just about the same ones reoccurring every time. I mean, you just got to look close enough at your picture, just like with that Derek Chauvinoff and that George Floyd death. If you look close enough and pull up a picture of the Boston bombings, he was one of the cops in the Boston bombings also. So what does that tell you, folks? Huh. We'll go even a little bit further. Find that school had been closed previous to that event. We can just shoot it right here. Just get us a bunch of fake actors in here and let's just go at it. That's what happened. Everything that you're seeing on is not really reality. Like I said, going to the crazy stuff with the aliens and stuff like that, but there's proof out there. I mean, whether you want to believe that proof is up to you, but if you have overwhelming proof of something, well, that pretty much anybody that has a contradicting story about whatever happens, oh, they get silenced. You don't hear from them no more. What happens? They've been took out. You know, anything that contradicts or goes against what they're putting out, like I said, quit being deceived by so much that's going on. A lot of times, all we got to do is open our eyes. You know, we can see things playing out. I mean, Scott got to the point, you know, about the events that's unfolding right now would make you think, you know, and I'm not gonna get on here and quote scripture and all this, but the way that I perceive things may be a little bit different from the way you perceive things. That's the best thing about free will. We all have that. We all have free will. You know, however you see fit. However you see fit. You know, and like I said, I think there's gonna be a lot of things about that that's coming out here in the near future that what we thought or perceived about what we have been taught about that Bible, it's not going to be right. You know, sometimes it's kind of hard when when you get man's opinion in something and places and get in high leadership of the church and start influencing people to do this, do that. And to me, a lot of it's what they say cult like mentality, because that's what it boils down to. I mean, can pretty much agree on one thing, and that's being saved by the blood of Jesus. Then that's all we have to agree on. Um, Anything else is pretty much optional. Sure. I had some. Hey, sorry about that. I had. I believe with all of my heart that I had divine healing. Um, did I believe the chemo played a part in it? Well, it might have played a little bit of part in it, but basically boiling down to the simple point is that you know people coming together under the same thought and wanting the same will done. I mean, just because we think that God should have moved another way on one thing and moved this way on another, then be present with the Lord. If we believe that, then did they not get that healing? Yeah, they got the ultimate one in a sense, but like I said, having a divine healing conversation with my mama several times about different that other one that said that if any among you are sick, let him call upon the elders of the church and let them anoint him with oil and pray over him, and he shall be healed. Like-minded individuals come together in agreement on certain things. Things begin to happen. Just a little mop up going on here and there. And I think we'll like this outcome. It might not be the outcome. And people say, well, I just don't think I got. You do. Everybody has that much faith. I mean, it's just the point about, and that's what, if we lose that belief and we lose that hope, then yeah, we're going to lose. But if we keep striving for that goal and keep remaining positive, and just like I said, we can go back to the Bible and reference everything about this. I mean, just like I said before, Jesus, when he walked the earth, he said, but think about that for a little bit. That's the power that he was talking about. We have that power. And like I said, it was like with Jesus there, and I might say something that's gonna blow you, but the way that we was taught and perceived about that, and like I said, we'll just leave it at that. But my opinion on that, that we believe and just miraculously just being born, you know, about or anything like that. I'll just leave it to the point that, yeah, it was a man. Like I said about Jesus there, was it to the point that, and I thinking about it like this, I think he kind of ascended to that point, you know, even after the resurrection there, when he told him, he said, "Don't touch me." He said, "Because I have yet to ascend." That's just my opinion, and I think, like I said, when it boils down to that's a lot of people can't grasp. I mean, even Scott got to the point about, and we sat back and done nothing with it. I'm being held accountable for what you know. It's, but like I said, like we talked, like when we was younger about growing up, how we was taught about straight heaven so good, peace, love, understanding. That's the qualities that make heaven good, the stuff like that. And then you get into the section of what this world entails. I mean, war, killing, raping, child abuse. I mean, we can go on and on like the stuff that's going on at the border. I mean, that's nothing but a money laundering scheme, a money racket. Because when they send them back, or whatever they do with them, I don't think they really send them back, but they get paid all that. But I've seen some of the stuff that they do to them. It's not a pretty sight, and it's not for the faint of heart. I mean, I'll go ahead and do it was intense too. Now's not the time to sit back and just sit on your hands and say, well, uh, I'm just don't let's just see how it plays out. Well, you're gonna be left. Remember what they said when everything first started. The ending is not going to be for all. Like they said, from dark to light. My grandfather used to tell me all the time. So he said, "Be sure the things that you do in the darkness is going to someday come to light," and that's what's happening. About how these people mass shooting and stuff like that, don't fall for that bullshit. Use a little common sense. I mean, like I said, you can see the videos. We won't get back into that, but like I said, I think things is working up now. I think you can already see things starting to play out. That they may be a new threat here pretty soon. Everything's all under control. It has to be this way. It has to be this way. People got to. If you can sit here and see all this stuff, like I said about what they giving in these shots for these lab rats. I mean, think about it. I mean, the information is out there, and them making money off of it. Yeah, they would do it. They'll sell your ass out in a heartbeat for $1. It's that plain and simple. The stuff with like 9/11. Do some information on that. Do some research. Do some digging on that. 9/11. My opinion on that it was a staged event. I mean, they coming out with stuff, and you can tell if you look back in the videos and look at that plane going into that building. That didn't look like no plane going in no. If you look at the hole, that was the size of a missile. They shot a missile inside the Pentagon. And why was that? Do your research on Bush. He was part of all that and and all that. Yeah. We'll get a little bit deeper and talking about the CIA Act, and now it's still operational over it. What? But they're even coming out from information now saying that she's still alive, saying JFK Jr. is still alive. They was even saying Elvis. I think that's going to be the comical part of it all that right there. And when we find out the ones that they have said has been dead in there, and he was talking about his words, and he was quoted saying, he said, "I will dismantle the CIA." Let me rephrase it. He said, "I will splinter the CIA into a million pieces." Talking about splintering the CIA. Yeah, that'll get you going real quick. That adrenochrome. Yeah, I said it, adrenochrome. Look it up. Younger and all that. A lot of that shit ain't plastic surgery. Sickening. Sick individuals. You know, and it back on our hands and not doing. You was brought in a fight. You got to stand up for what you believe in. Like that song says, you got to stand up for what you believe in, or you'll fall for anything. And that's what's been happening. People have been falling for anything. You know, I never thought that I'd live in a time in my life where the people trusted the government so much, trust them with their own lives. I want to, without the repercussions of anybody saying that I'm wrong for doing that. Like I said, it ain't about it's been fabricated. They've been trying to divide us for years. Think about that. Why do they want us divided for? Because it's easy to take over people that way when they're divided. When people don't talk. When people don't stand up for what's right. You know, getting back to that point about 1776, the revolution. We're fixing to see another revolution. That's what it's boiling down to. But we've got to get more involved. I mean, they talking about taking the oath to, as the old saying goes, it says, "Give me liberty or give me death." I'm not gonna say when I might be back on. We're gonna sign off for tonight, and remember, love one another. Be more compassionate. Show more compassion. That's what it's gonna take. It's high time that we stop turning on each other and started loving one another and start doing what's right.